It is not often that a classical radio station pays tribute to a Broadway composer, but that's just what's happening tonight when our sister station presents Being Alive. WFMT Remembers Stephen Sondheim. Sondheim, of course, died in November at the age of 91. And joining us now is the host of Being Alive, Chicago Tribune film critic and regular contributor to WFMT's soundtrack program, Michael Phillips. Michael Phillips, Happy New Year. It's great to see you. So why spotlight Stephen Sondheim on classical radio station WFMT?
Oh my God, I think you could make an argument that Stephen Sondheim was the preeminent American composer in almost any genre for most of the second half of the 20th century. I think you can go that far, and that's just as a composer. As a lyricist, he was unmatched, and I think it's to FMT's credit that they can certainly look broadly enough at how do we define classical or classic music? And Sondheim absolutely fits the bill. Also, Sondheim studied with Milton Babbitt, and he has all these sort of acknowledged debts to great classical composers, Debussy and Stravinsky and all kinds of folks. And Bernard Herrmann, my favorite film composer, Sweeney Todd is an acknowledged debt. Sondheim's love letter to Bernard Herrmann. So, I mean, that kind of influence, I think, really tickles people's ears and imagination.
So his roots in classical music and symphonies runs very deep. And you mentioned his association with composers. There's Leonard Bernstein, obviously, with whom he worked on West Side Story. How important was it for Sondheim to work with someone like Leonard Bernstein?
Oh my God, everything. It meant everything to Sondheim's career to be part of that really momentous collaboration in 1957. Also, Sondheim was only listed as co-lyricist originally with composer Leonard Bernstein, but Bernstein did him the favor of saying, "Look, I'm going to take my name off, so you get the full lyric credit." And that kind of gesture really said a lot, and it really announced the emergence of a major talent. And I think that's Sondheim's career in one nutshell. Actually, he's got one foot in classic golden age Broadway, lyricist for West Side Story and Gypsy, and the composer lyricist of A Funny Thing Happened on the Way to the Forum in the early 60s. That's one foot in the past. And then the other foot, everything he did from Company on in 1970, that's making the musical theater's future and really marking the entire streak of adventurousness and experimentation and just truly at the best genius that Sondheim represented. So one foot in the past, one foot in the future, and that's Sondheim.
And of course the show is called Being Alive, which is in a reference to that great song from the hit musical Company. This is an hour program, so how do you go through this immense body of work? You just mentioned a few of the classic productions and pick out the pieces you want to showcase for that hour.
Well, I'll try to play it cool on this, Paris, but it made me crazy. To actually winnow it down to 12 selections. The best I could do, honestly, is just think, okay, let's give people a wide swath of a sense of the real range and breadth of his accomplishments. So we start in 1954, a little bit from his very first unproduced musical called Saturday Night, which has been produced since, of course. And then we take it all the way up through his last major show on Broadway, Passion, in the early 90s. And, there's other things along the way, some flops, a few hits. But when you really get to the streak that starts with Company, moves on to, follow these little night music, Sweeney Todd, that is an amazing streak of work that it's just a kind of a creative explosion that really could compete with any artistic achievement in America during those years.
And so many of those songs endure in popular culture, not just in musical theater. You've had the chance to meet him and interview him in the past. What was he like in person?
He was great. He was great. We had a couple of phoners over the years, which were like fine, and then around the time of one of the Into the Woods revivals on Broadway, I think it was 2002. I did a longer piece at his place in New York, and that was great. That was time enough and Ruminoff in the interview to really kind of get into all kinds of work. And this was not that long after 9/11, and he was in a reflective mood, to say the least. And the show, Into the Woods, is also dealing with some issues of grief and shock and emotional turmoil, like all Sondheim's work. But it brought out kind of an interesting tenor in the conversation. And yeah, it was a peak journalism experience in my theater critic career before I was moving over to film.
And so many people just talk about, they hone in on his lyrics and his power as a lyricist. What was his unique power as a lyricist? What set those lyrics apart?
Unbelievable precision and concision and just exacting standards. He was incredibly tough on his own work. I mean, he to the end would deride most of his own lyrics for West Side Story. And then, you know, he's very sparing with praise, at least with his own work. But when you took that kind of just finding what that character in that particular story moment in that show needs to say, and how am I going to say it in a way that people will not be able to predict.
I definitely have a lot of thoughts on that. We'll have to save it for a podcast, because this is my favorite
Sorry, I've been
topic.
yakking too
One
much.
of my favorite topics. And our thanks to Michael Phillips.